Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to show you a cool trick with Llama to let you run an uncensored version of an LLM on your laptop locally. So you can ask it whatever you want, no one will ever know what you're asking, and only you're going to get the answers. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today we're going to talk about a new release from Meta, Llama 3.2. This new Llama is amazing. So I shouldn't even say it's just a Llama because it's multiple models that they've released. So this 3.2 has two major versions that they've released. They've released a multimodal one that does image inference, so this way you can upload images and it'll infer information from the image that you provide to it. And the other one is a smaller edge-based LLM that can be used to run on small mobile devices, and it's geared towards that particular type of process unit, like ARM processors. So let's jump into it. So over here on Meta's website, on ai.meta.com, is a whole announcement of Llama 3.2, revolutionizing edge AI and vision with open customizable models. Takeaways. Today we're releasing Llama 3.2, which includes small and medium-sized version LLMs, 11B and 90B. These are the vision-based ones. And lightweight text-only models, 1B and 3B, that fit into edge and mobile devices, including pre-trained and instruction-tuned versions. So pre-trained just means it's trained on all the data. Instructions means those are better for giving instructions. So if you're using agent-based type of inference patterns, you want to use the instructions ones. They're a little bit heavier, so they take a little bit more compute power. So realistically, though, most people are going to be running the 1B and 3Bs on little things. So as you're going to start seeing a lot of AI everywhere, right? Like Apple's new iPhone 16 has the AI stuff coming out. It's not released yet, but it's built in. We're going to see a lot of AI built into actual hardware that's going to be like on your watches, phones, thermostats. Basically, they're making this small enough to run on pretty much anything. So this is going to be pretty interesting. And because this is open source, everyone gets to use it pretty much wherever they want. So next up, Llama 3.2 1B and 3B models support context length of 128,000 tokens. What that means is you can have 128,000 tokens of input for it to infer and give you a response on. A token is, think of it like a token is like a word or a syllable. It's like a chunk of data. So 128,000 beats, that means you can upload documents. You can upload entire transcriptions. You can upload probably Facebook's entire terms of service and ask it, hey, what are the things I need to be worried about? And it will come back with a response. So their state-of-art class for on-device use cases like summarization, instruction following, and rewriting tasks running locally at the edge. You know what? Let's do this. Let's try Meta AI, and let's ask it, what is an edge device? What is an edge device, and how will local AI make them better? Of course I get it. Oh wait, continue without logging in. Thank you. What? Confirm my age. I'm somewhere down here. That's good enough. Okay. What is an edge device? An edge device is a hardware or software component that operates at the boundary between the physical world and the digital world, typically in close proximity to the source of data. Edge devices are part of the Internet of Things ecosystem and are designed to collect data, so sensors, real-time processing. Examples of edge devices: smart home devices, Amazon Echo, Google Homes; industrial automation controllers, autonomous vehicles, smartwatches, fitness trackers, security cameras, IoT sensors. So that's an edge device, in case you're curious. I love AI. It's so much better than Google these days. So let's see here. What are the other cool things we want to talk about here? So supported by a broad ecosystem, the Llama 3.2, 11B, and 90B vision models are drop-in replacements for their corresponding text model equivalents. So before, with the Llama 3.1 and Llama 3.0, those were just text-based. There was no image vision capabilities. So what they're saying is you can just pull out those models, plop in 3.2, and everything will work the same. So everything that you've built up to this point on the old previous Llama models, you can just plug and play this, and now you can add in vision capabilities, which is pretty awesome too. While exceeding on image understanding tests compared to closed models such as Claude 3 Haiku, unlike other multimodal models, both pre-trained and aligned models are available to be fine-tuned for custom applications using Torch Tune and deployed locally using Torch Chat. They're also available to try on Smart Assistant like Meta AI, which we just did. They're sharing the first Llama stack distributions, which will greatly simplify the way developers will work with Llama models in different environments, including single node, on-prem, cloud, and on-device, enabling turnkey deployment of retrieval augmented generation, RAG systems, which we've talked about before, and tooling-enabled applications with integrated safety. We've been working closely with partners like AWS, Databricks, Dell Technologies, Fireworks, Infosys, and Together AI to build Llama stack distributions for their downstream enterprise clients. So enterprise clients are finally realizing we can't just ignore AI, we can't just block it, but we got to have something. So with systems like this, you can now have localized LLMs, and when you throw a RAG on the side, it can throw all that data in that you have locally that you don't want, OpenAI and Claude and all these guys to have. And you don't have to fine tune it. You don't have to train it. You can just point it to the data and it will pull it back with references, which is great. And of course, all this is open source. So you can download this stuff pretty much everywhere. So huggingface.co is the big one. Llama, if you have that installed, you can download it and use that today. So now what we're going to do, actually, let me show this. So real fast, the model evaluations, they basically showed the differences between the Llama 3.2 11 billion, 90 billion compared to Claude 3 Haiku, which is not their latest. The latest one is 3.5 Sonnet, so this is the one previous. And then they compared it to GP4o Mini. So they're comparing their 90 billion to the Mini, and that's pretty much the comparison there. So if you look at the Llama 3.2 90 billion, it's surpassing pretty much every single one of these in every benchmark being tested. But that's like, I shouldn't understate this, but it's like comparing the latest version of Llama with the older version of Claude and GPT. But the difference is this is open source and free. You can download this and run this locally, so you don't have to pay for their services. So it's an amazing thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay how cool this is. It's just they're not really doing the comparison of their latest versus the closed source system latest is. The lightweight, so the lightweight is the 1 billion and 3 billion, the ones that we're going to run on those edge devices that are going to run on your phone, run on your watch, and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you look at the Llama 3.2 3 billion, so this should be able to run on phones, specifically anything with like a high-tech phone, like an iPhone or Android that's running on ARM. And its benchmarks are right up there with Phi 3.5 Mini. That was the one that was released by Microsoft. And then Gemma 2 billion, it's kind of sitting in between these benchmarks or winning on most of them. So on the MMLU, Phi 3.51, but other than that, the Llama 3.23 billion token parameter seems to be winning on every single benchmark provided. Oh, GSM8K, it lost, so that's math-based. So not the best at math-based. So if you look over here on the left, it's a little bit smaller. So these are general benchmarks. These are for tools, math-based benchmarks, reasoning-based benchmarks, long context, and then multilingual. So for something like an edge device where it's going to be something running on your phone or it's going to be something running really just to try to do something super quick, they're not really going to be doing lots of crazy math. It's more going to be along the reasoning side. So if we look at the benchmarks on the reasoning side, they're kind of right in the middle or winning between the other two. So this is a really good open source mini model that's going to be definitely used everywhere. So get ready to use this. Now, let's jump into the fun stuff. Let's actually set up Llama 3.2 locally, and I'm going to run it on the Mac. We're going to run, actually, let's just do this. We're just going to go right from the beginning. So close this out. Llama. This is the first thing you need. We've talked about Llama before in the past. Here's how let's just run through the setup together. So very simple. Download the file, put it on my desktop. Wonderful. It's already downloading the Mac version. So you can run this on Windows, Mac, and Linux. On my AI box, I'm running it on a Windows machine because it's built out with my NVIDIA GPU processor, and that thing's got the 4090, so therefore it screams. It'll tear through stuff, no problem. I have not run Llama on my MacBook Air just because it's a MacBook Air, right? The GPU is not meant for this stuff. Like, why would I even bother when I have a powerhouse machine to do it? But with these little mini models, this is a whole different ballgame. Now I can have an LLM on my laptop when I'm out and about, whether I have internet or not. When I'm traveling, I'm on the plane, I'll have access to a full-blown LLM, and we're going to test it locally. So now Llama's done. To install it, we just extract it. We'll double-click that. And there's the app. We're just going to open that bad boy up. Open. Yes, I trust it. Go ahead and move it to applications. I'm going to keep this. It's verifying, and there we go. Wonderful. So let's get, now we're going to go through the setup real fast. Install command line, Llama. Run your first model. Llama, run Llama 3.1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up terminal. All right, so now terminal's open. Llama. There it is. Llama's running. That's that simple. You can see up in the little taskbar we got the little llama guy going on too, so we know he's running. So now let's list the models that are currently installed. So llama list, and right now there are none installed. So what we can do is we need to pull down a model. So if we go back to llama.com, and on the right you see models. This will list out all the different models that are available, and these are all free, and they'll download them and install them all locally for you. So right here is Llama 3.2, which is the one we're talking about, so we're going to go into there. And right now, if you try to do Llama pull Llama 3.2, it's going to grab down the 3 billion token version. So if you want a specific version, click on the drop down, click on view more, and you'll see all the different 3.2 versions that you can download. So whatever was going to best fit what it is that you're trying to do, you can download. We're just going to do regular 3B because that's the one we want to test. So all we do, Llama pull Llama 3.2, and it's going to download it. Now, depending on the size of the model, this could take a while. Some of these models could be hundreds of gigs in size, depending on what you want to do. This one's not. This model, I'm not sure how big this one is. We're about to find out as it's downloading. So we're going to let this, in the magic of video, fast forward super fast. Okay, so download done. So the model is 2 gigs in size for the 3 billion token. I'm going to go ahead, since you don't have to sit here and watch it, I'm going to go ahead and download the 1B token size. So to show you how we do that, we go into here, right? And why doesn't it scroll? I'm already scroll down. All right, so we go into here, and we want the 1B. So now you'll see, all you gotta do is just copy this part here, like that, and then do Llama pull Llama 3.2 :1B. So now it's going to download the 1B version, which is only 1.3 gigs. So it's about 35% smaller, which is pretty cool. This is why these LLMs are going to be game changers for hardware, because at 1.5 gig, you can fit that on anything. I mean, every micro SD card. I don't even know what the smallest micro SD card you could buy right now is. Guarantee it's over a gig, so we're well past micro SD card. This is stuff that could actually be burned into firmware. This could actually be stored directly on the boards themselves. So this is going to be pretty crazy to see what happens, because now with these local LLMs, you're going to be able to do all kinds of crazy stuff, and which is interesting too, because now that's going to open up a whole new world of prompt engineering injection attacks, because that's really where this comes to. Kind of like the SQL injection attacks, prompt injection is a whole new world that's developed out of the blue to get the LLMs to do things they're not supposed to give you information they're not supposed to. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see, because if, let's say, your thermostat has an embedded LLM on it, and you can somehow figure out how to write in your own custom prompts to do some prompt injection, you could have your thermostat probably do some crazy stuff that it's never meant to do. So we'll see what happens in the wide world of hacking LLMs once we get to this point. But either way, from an overall standpoint, having a local LLM on all these edge devices is going to be a game changer for everyone. But unfortunately, you're just going to start seeing it everywhere, right? It's just like having a smart thing. Now it's going to be the super smart thing. So now you're going to have a smart blender with AI. Why does your blender need AI? I don't know. But I guarantee you someone's going to come out with one, and a ton of people are going to be like, oh, look, my blender has AI, and it talks to my phone, and I can write it a prompt, and it will tell me the best smoothie to make based on the ingredients that are in my refrigerator or something, right? So things are going to get weird. It's going to be fun, but I have no idea if it's all going to be useful. A lot of it's going to be pretty gimmicky. But either way, things are going to change drastically. So now that we have the 1B and the 3B models pulled down from Llama, let's go ahead and kick off. So first, let's start with the 3B model, because that's kind of the one that everyone's most likely going to be using, because it's going to have the higher token rates, so you're going to get better results from it, and my laptop should absolutely be able to use that. So what we're going to do is do Llama run, and then you just say whichever one is. So if you want to see which ones you have, you can just do list, and it'll show you all the models that you have installed. So now we're just going to say, okay, I want to do Llama run Llama 3.2. There we go. So now it's loading the model locally in memory. And then as soon as it's ready, it's going to show me a prompt, and then we can ask it a question. What's the first question we should ask it? What is the best NOLA music of all time based on sales? Whoa, that was instant. Determining the best New Orleans music of all time based on sales can be subjective. Fats Domino, 1944 to 2017. Interesting. Louis Armstrong, Jelly Roll, Professor Longhair, the Nelville Brothers, Dr. John, and the Meters. Interesting. What about Down? Down is a highly influential New Orleans metal band formed in '91 with vocalist and bassist Pepe Willard, guitarist Phil Anselmo of Pantera, and Down, and drum. What?
Yeah, Phil is on vocals.
Phil is vocals. Okay, so that's not right. Everything else is pretty close though. It shows all the different albums, release dates, and everything. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Phil Anselmo's 100% vocals on this album. I don't even have to look that one up. That one I'm pretty sure about. Let's try this. Write the Python game snake. There we go. So it's writing the code. And this is actually pretty fast. Remember, this is all running locally. I have no internet going on right now. Right? Sorry, there's no calls being made to the internet. This is all locally. So this is pretty rad. And let's see if this thing works. I'm doing a 0 shot. Obviously, the prompt was useless. It just said to make the game. So it's kind of, it's deciding what the game should do and how it's going to work. But this should be kind of fun. VI snake pie. We'll put the code in. Delete that garbage there. Go to the top. Nothing. All right, cool. And then pip install pygame. I'm not sure if that's installed or not, so I'll just run it real quick. I should have put this into a virtual environment. Whatever. Python snake. There we go. Oh. All right, let's try this. Let's see how good it is at troubleshooting. So we'll take this and... Okay, so I'm not even going to bother going back and forth on this because working the interface and the command prompt is kind of a pain in the butt. So let's do this. Let's try the 1 billion model. So Llama run 3.2, I think it was 1B, right? Okay, so now we're going to run the 1 billion token model. So this one's even smaller. Let's give it the same question. We'll ask it, see if it knows who the lead singer of Down is. All right, so first we'll start out with, okay. What is the best NOLA music of all time based on sales? Louis Armstrong, number 1. Meters, number 2. Okay, so actually very similar bands as the result, but not as much detail. We're not getting the dates, and the order is different. It's going by millions of copies sold. This one doesn't really show, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, now let's ask it about the band Down to see if it knows. What about Down? Whoa. Way off. Okay. The soundtrack for the 1987 film Bobby Dillard, Down in New Orleans. Okay, so the 1 billion token, big difference here in being right about anything, honestly. So I'm not too confident in the 1 billion token model. I'm not even going to use it. Like that to me right there just goes to show that for a little bit more, which this computer can definitely handle it, the 3 billion model works. This is just bad. Okay, so 1 billion model. I mean, this is highly specific, but if you're using something generic and you need this to fit on a watch to work and like, hey, what's the time zone difference between here and here? Like, okay. Okay, 1700. Wait, okay, so I'm guessing, interesting answer. All right, now let's try, I'm gonna run Llama 3.2. +4. See, now that's what I would want. If I was developing something, I want to know the difference, which is +4. I don't even think that's right, is it? Okay, +4. I absolutely trust Claude. So, okay, UTC +4. Oh, UTC +4. Wow. Okay, LLM was smarter than me. I was the one that was stupid on that one. Okay, so UTC time +4 hours. That's what this is saying. And that is the numeric shortest version, and I say from UTC, so that makes perfect sense. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and just kill the 1 billion token version because we can all agree it's not worth it. Now I'm going to show you something else that's pretty cool. So this command line stuff is neat. Like I just showed you, you can run this whole thing locally. It runs really well. Dolphin Llama 3 is a fine-tuned version of Llama 3, the original one, that is completely uncensored. So you can ask it anything you want, and those questions will never leave the device where it's being asked. So we're going to let this download. It's going to be a while, so we're just going to kick that off in the background. We'll get back to that at the end. So now, let's go to AnythingLLM.com. I'm going to show you how cool this tool is to run locally when you have something like Llama and you really want to use this for day-to-day work, but you don't want to be messing around on the command line because it can get kind of messy. So download. We're going to download it for a Mac Apple Silicon because that's what I'm running here on the desktop. Great. And download. So AnythingLLM provides us a UI for the Llama interface, so therefore makes it way easier to use, and we can do a lot more with it, like RAG and all kinds of fun stuff too. So get started and search LLM providers. So you can connect it to all kinds, like OpenAI, Anthropic, which is Claude, Gemini. You just got to put in your API keys and stuff. But we're going to do Llama because we want to run everything locally. And then look, you'll see here's all of the models that we have installed. So we're going to do Llama 3.2 latest, which is the 3B token. Max tokens, we can go up to 120,000. I don't really care for this time. Advanced settings, we're just going to leave all of this the same because I don't care. Go ahead and launch. So we're going to use LLM. We're using the AnythingLLM embedder and LanceDB for the vector database for any type of RAG. And we go ahead. Welcome to AnythingLLM. I'm not going to do the survey right now. Nidus. And go. So once you got your workspace, now we're going to create a new thread. And now that we have our thread, we can now start talking to Llama. So like I said before, we're talking with the Llama that's running in the background on this machine locally with no internet. In fact, if you go to this, let's just actually turn my Wi-Fi completely off. I have no internet right now. Okay. So what is the best metal band of all time? Determining the best metal band is subjective. Of course it is. Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica, Slayer. Fair enough, Slayer's in there, so I'll give them that. Who is the lead singer of each of those bands? Because I seem to have a problem with that before, so let's check. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne. Correct. Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson. Correct. Previously, Paul Di'Anno. Okay, Cliff Burton also had lead vocals on some songs.
So how come for Black Sabbath, since they've had like 6 vocalists at one point?
Judas Priest, Rob Halford. Metallica, James Hetfield. And Slayer, Tom Araya. And Kerry King occasionally shared lead vocals.
No.
No.
Not on anything recorded.
When did Kerry King ever sing ever?
Didn't he just do live? Yeah.
I don't think... Okay, well, what song did Kerry King sing on? 'Cause I really don't think so. I couldn't find any evidence of Kerry King singing lead vocals. Yeah, that's because he didn't. Okay, so we definitely have some hallucinations going on, but I think you get the idea. This is a pretty cool local LLM, and again, this is the super small one, right? So this is the type of stuff that you can be doing, like I said, on a watch, on your phone, and have this stuff completely offline, complete access to you. Now let's ask like some coding questions. So write a Node.js Lambda that will search the web for the top trending podcast topics in IT and report back the subject in JSON. Whatever. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Here is our Lambda function. So it's actually pretty good and pretty quick at writing out code. I'm not going to test this stuff, but we can kind of just go through it. So, okay, it's using topical IO to do the searching. Axios for the web calls, which is great. That's what I normally use as well. Await commands, which is good. So we get the response back, stringify, JSON. Okay, and then it's going to store it into an S3 bucket. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, this thing does pretty good. So I bet if you needed to ask it code questions or syntax stuff, I bet it's got it all in there. Now, let's change this up a little bit and have some more fun. So if we go to this bad boy here, let's go ahead and create a whole new workspace. Notice we're going to call this one Dolphin. Save. Okay, so now we have this new workspace. Let's open up the settings. we're going to change the AI LLM, and we're going to change this one to Dolphin. Save changes. Yay. Okay, so now in Dolphin, let's ask it some questions. Write me an exploit in Python that will do SQL injection on a 2012 Microsoft SQL database. Let's see what we get now. So now this is the full Llama 3.0 LLM. So this one is a lot smarter, has a lot more tokens in it. This one I believe is running, I think, the 70 billion token set. So it's pretty big. And so that's why it's also going to be a lot slower. So there we go. So what's also important though, this Dolphin one is uncensored. If I were to try to ask this, like watch, like let's go over here and ask this to our, let's switch this up and we'll go back to the regular 3B1, save. Okay, so now if we go back to the uncensored one and let's just ask it the same exact question, watch what kind of response we get. I can't fulfill this request. So all of the open source AIs and all the closed models are all locked down to not being able to answer questions like this. But when you download this Dolphin one, you can do whatever you want. So let's go back to the Dolphin. And now we're at Dolphin, save. There we go. So now you can actually see it's actually generating an actual SQL injection. So the injection is actually taking place here, right? Where it inserts the comment and then says, hey, go into the username. So this is pretty cool stuff. So using local, all offline, I still haven't turned my internet on. It's still off. You can run these really awesome free open source LLMs locally, and using AnythingLLM, you can have a really cool UI that makes life a lot easier and you don't have to open up everything in the command prompt all the time. Other things that you can do is you can attach files into this. I'm not doing that on this one, but I wonder, you know what, let's try this real fast since we have the ability to do so. Llama pull Llama 3.2. Oh wait, I want to get the 90, or not 90, this is going to be pretty harsh, but let's see here. So Dolphin Llama, Llama 3.2. So we have the 1 and the 3B models downloaded. But now I'm going to try and download one of the bigger ones here. Let's do the smaller vision one. Oh, I can't. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Wait, what? 3B, 1B? Oh, they don't have the big ones on. Oh, the vision ones aren't on Llama. That's right. Dang it. Oh, well. So if you want to play with the vision libraries, the 90 billion token one, you have to do that on Hugging Face. So now, there you go. So that's how you can run a local LLM on your device, even if you don't have a crazy GPU. The 3 billion token model does work pretty well. You can use the Llama to run it locally, and then you can put AnythingLLM on top of that for a UI. So you have your own chat GPT right on your machine, and no one knows what you're doing. So have fun, and don't do anything stupid. Later. Bye. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on in this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.